And we're live. And it's October 1st, 10 a.m. Oh, actually, it's just a second. Yeah. And I'm Kirk Kayer.
And I'm Red Dog McDavid.
And it's not only just a time for the start of our telethon, but it's also the time to share with our listeners and viewers why we're doing this.
Yes.
So might as well get started. From your perspective, why? Why is today's day important?
Today's day is important because we have to get the truth out to people, and it has to start now. We are doing this telethon to get people's attention and let people know that we're serious, let the men and women of Alberta and Canada know that we're serious about getting the truth out to people. We're not getting it from the online, the mainstream media, MSM. We're not telling us the truth anymore. So we need to start telling the truth.
Well, when you start looking at, telling the truth, that's kind of objective, don't you think?
No.
Why?
Because the truth is the truth, the way it should be. Media was created after World War I to tell the truth and let the people know what the government were doing to them. And right now, the government is doing so many heinous acts to us that it's got to be talked about.
Okay, so can you give our viewers any examples of how it's being manipulated?
All the bills they're passing. All through this COVID crisis, they passed so many bills. They took more rights in the last 5 years than they would have taken 40 years to do what they're doing. So they're in a hurry for some reason to get something done. And they've taken more rights from us in the last 5 years than they have in the last 50 years or more. And I'm getting sick of it. Okay. Bill 2, Bill 4, Bill 5, or C4, C5, 63. I've got them all written down here somewhere, but it's ridiculous. And the people have nothing to say about it. They work for us. They're supposed to work for us. They've changed that around to we work for them. That's not right.
All right, let's get right down to it. During COVID, what triggers do you remember from that time about misinformation?
Misinformation?
Yeah.
What, telling us to take a poison into our body that was supposedly good for us and talking us into it? They said the word COVID every 15 seconds. That's MK Ultra. That's brainwashing. And they made us all fearful of each other. I mean, we couldn't even go see our grandparents in the home or hospital, for crying out loud.
Now, for our audience, I'm not trying to say that we don't need a new media, but just you think about it for a second about how the media presentation has directed your way of thinking. I'll use COVID as probably the most impactful observation that I've run into. But that's because it lasted for a year of craziness.
Mm-hmm.
And the impacts are still being felt. But you look at how it was sold. Every media, every store, every media, including social media. But the other part when you get past just the misinformation from the media, you go to the government messaging. And the government messaging is faulty would be the best way to describe it. When I say faulty, I go and say, to me, it's like they're only telling part of the story, or they have an end goal to get people to believe a certain thing that isn't, but doesn't allow the citizen to take the information and come up with their own conclusion. You take a look at whether it's healthcare or education, they're just not telling the whole truth.
It was mostly lies. Telling us to wear a mask. It's like putting up a chain link fence to stop mosquitoes. My God. I'm disgusted. I was disgusted. I was horrified that people were going for it. I couldn't believe it. It was horrifying. I had to work. And when I walked into the camp in BC, I had to have a mask on in order to get my food. Thinking back, what I should have done was eat in town. But then again, you had to buy a mask on going into a restaurant. You couldn't go into a grocery store. They had everybody hornswoggled into believing that this mask was going to protect them, when in fact it was causing them damage.
Well, just hold on a second. And this is the part that I want those of you who are hearing this to understand. We were told the masks made a difference, along with 6 feet distancing.
The masks made a difference by putting you 6 feet in the ground.
True. Or sorry, that is the information, some of the information we found. But here's the punchline. For all of you who agreed, wore the mask, the pathway of this information came from Fauci, who was the US health guru at the time. And that went to the WHO, who went to the Canadian Health, who went to Alberta Health, who spread this message that Fauci had said that masks and social distancing was the solution. And it was just 2 years ago. No, COVID was 19. Yeah, about that.
Yep.
Fauci came out and said he knew when he made the statement that the masks did not work,
yep,
and neither did the distancing. So the impact for all of that, you're right about some of the people who didn't get to say goodbye to their grandparents at the seniors' homes, but also all the stores that ultimately suffered a tremendous economic impact. But I know that I was going to many homes who were running out of food. They just didn't have food. So I helped provide a delivery of food to homes, people that were too scared to leave their house. Now, let's pretend that something was happening that actually helped make people sick, and the getting sick was the issue. I can understand certain parts of it, but you can't sell people a false hope that by cocooning, by ostriching, which is kind of a funny name of this on today's day, that by ostriching, they would be safe. They could touch something, it was transferable. The illness is transferred. If that's what it is, that's how it works. But we're sold something different. And while the government said it, the media spread it.
Media is enemy number one. Mainstream media.
Now,
sorry. If it wasn't for them, we wouldn't have been hiding in the house and all of this stuff. They made us so fearful. Even myself, at the very first, I'm like, holy shit, what's going on? And the more I heard over a couple hours, I realized this is a farce. This is a farce. And the 6 foot standing 6 feet apart, your energy goes out about 5 feet. So now you're out of my energy zone if you're 6 feet from me. We can't relay good energy to each other and help each other and understand and feel what each other's feeling. It just cuts that connection. That's where the 6 feet come from.
So if we move from there as just an observation, as a single isolated piece of evidence, you go into more current. You have the former head of Alberta Healthcare, who has left Alberta Healthcare. She was relieved of duties. She is suing the provincial government and Alberta Healthcare. She's been silenced for just being honest and upfront. And we got people who are trying to join us right off the bat.
Okay.
But it becomes a never-ending cycle about why we're being told the wrong information. Take a look at just your media feeds. You've got a feed right now from the NDP and Nemshi and all of his minions.
Mm-hmm.
And you also have a feed from the Alberta government, the UCP, and Danielle Smith talking about the upcoming teacher strike. Now, remember, they've got a 12% offer on the table. That's a good number when you think about just numbers.
Well, they should be getting 3% a year to go with inflation.
And they didn't get a raise for a number of years, so there is some backup. But just for anybody negotiating a raise, if you get 12%, it's not bad.
Mm-hmm.
And they both talk about how disrespectful the teachers are to the budgets. And that's what's in the media. That's what Nemshi and Smith babble on about.
Mhm.
The teachers are not declining the 12%. That's not part of the equation. So hear it loud. The teachers are striking because there's 40 kids in a classroom. Think about it. If you go to work one day and you're expected to accomplish X, but today there's Y, which is a much bigger number for you to do. Doing it for 1 or 2 days, that's, helping the team out.
When I worked at Chrysler, we were expected to build 250 cars a day in the plant.
So
If
could
all of
you,
a sudden they said, you guys are going to build 400 cars a day now for the same weight and the same rate and the same amount of time, we'd have been running.
and
It
that's,
worked. And what, you know what would have happened? The whole plant would have shut down.
and
Would have
that,
stopped work.
that's the problem.
Yeah.
I mean, they have, even if it's 38 to 44, I have read a couple of studies now that the optimum number of students in a classroom, if everything was equal, is 24. So when the teachers say, I don't want to do 40 kids because I can't do my job properly, that means almost double the amount of tests to mark, individuals to kind of deal with, not just on a daily basis, but planning long term. But wait a second. But there's the first issue
Mhm.
that neither Smith nor Nemshi are even talking about. Second issue, they've assimilated a lot of the classrooms, and I think it's good as a thing, but people are learning at different rates. So they have special educators or teachers' assistants that come in. Well, Danielle just announced with great applause to her that she's going to hire 3,000 more teachers over, I believe it's 3 years. That's basically 1,000 teachers a year, and build 130 odd schools.
Well, they
Well-
need to build 130 schools for all the
Then-
people they're bringing into the country.
That's right. And let's pretend that for a second.
Mhm.
But if you do the math and the number of schools, that means one more teacher per school. That's it.
That's like adding one doctor to each hospital.
It,
That's
it,
unacceptable.
it doesn't do the job.
No. No wonder the teachers are going on strike. I don't blame them. I'd sooner see the kids at home.
Oh, wait a second. But what do you think about this? So the teachers need to have some more educators and smaller class size. Like they need that, more teachers. It is what it is. But now Danielle Smith announced last night, I believe it was, that all of a sudden out of nowhere, every kid who is home from school, the parent will get $30 a day.
To self-teach their
No,
children.
no, just to offset the inconvenience.
They're going to pay their kids, their parents $30 a day to keep their kids home.
Yeah,
So most of the parents are going to be keeping their kids home because $30 a day means
it's 150
eating
bucks a week.
yeah, eating or not eating nowadays.
Well, it does, but I mean, the parents don't have a choice. The kids are home. But here's the thing: if you look at, and I'm just going to do fingers and toes, 30 kids times $30, 3 times 3,
Nine grand.
Holy smokes! You 900,
900, sorry.
$900 per day, and that's only with 30 kids. Some of them have 40.
Mhm.
Okay. How much would it cost to hire a teacher? I'm sorry, the math isn't working out for me. For one class, they can hire 3 teachers, 4 teachers for what the government's paying.
Mhm.
And there's a lot of bloody classrooms.
And if we need more classrooms, put some ATCO trailers out back. There's lots of them laying around.
But this is what the media is not doing. This is what we're asking you to pay attention to, is that you're not being told this. Let's try another thing. You have an issue in your community. Maybe it's a road that's really bad. And you go to your local governance and you say, hey, folks, we have a problem. And they don't. Oh, yeah. Lori Carter just commented, the ones they brought in have tons of kids, more money for them. Yeah. The reason, Lori, just so that you're kind of caught up, is that, yeah, I mean, you can Google this information, but it's the Alberta government gives the Board of the Education Department $13,400, I think is what it is, per student
For a year.
per year. So if you have 40 kids times 13,000, that's over $400,000 per classroom. The teacher, and Danielle was so proud of it, the top earning teachers make $112,000, I think is what she said this morning. Top. That doesn't say the average. That doesn't say the lower paid or the new teachers
That's probably, I'm going to probably go right to principals and stuff like that.
who have to be teachers.
Yeah, they have to be teachers, exactly.
So,
Or do they?
yeah, apparently they're supposed to.
Nowadays,
Yeah.
nowadays there's judges in place that have never lawyered or went to judge school. They just get put in place because they're friends of the family.
Oh, they're special, yes. No, these are supposedly, from what I understand, every teacher, every principal is got a teaching degree.
Okay.
But if the high end is $112,000 or $118,000, the low end is
40, 50.
40 or 50. Let's even go 60. But they get over $100,000 in, $400,000 in budget for that one classroom, the four walls, the heat, the air conditioning, the insurance, the books, and speaking of books, you know that some of these textbooks go from like 60 to $400, $500 per textbook. All of you people who are watching or listening today, it's a modern world, which is right-click save as. How much does that cost? So this is the Queen's printer, or the King's printer, I guess now, or the book publishers making a fortune on something that most of the students would prefer right-click save as. Digital copies. Just pay the writers to write the book, call it a day, and save some money. But again, this is not a conversation that mainstream media is having.
No.
They're not getting right down to the chase. When you look at some of these educational assistants and the work they're doing, they're taking somebody who is left or right of the spectrum in terms of just sitting and being an average kid in the classroom. Some are too excited, some have attention deficit, there's a whole lot of, but usually the educational assistants gets one, maybe two. That's all they get to deal with or try and help navigate their education and make it best for them. They can't, there's just not enough of the EA to educate or assist in the education of a classroom of 40 kids. That story's not being told, folks, and you need to do that. And that's what this media is supposed to be.
Yes.
So if you guys aren't wondering how we've got it, if you're not seeing us on the video stream right now, we have a chat box in our broadcast, and we had Lori Carter. That was her comment that she sent in. So if you want to participate in this, you can. All right. So let's talk about our media. So I'm hoping you can see having a different source of information that will we'll share all of the information. But if it doesn't make sense, we will call it out. Okay? Let's go with the next step. The next step is us. For us, we have the video that some of you are watching, but we also have the audio. We also have print. We also do social media. Like, we've got all four pieces. The print that we ran in August, the cost to do 4 copies was the same as 1,000. We got rid of them in not even a weekend. They were gone. Demand is there. The commercial viability is not. We see that with all the papers that are, and most of the ones who are not lasting are the ones who are not getting the big government handouts.
You got that right. Well, weren't they bought by specific people? What was it, 10 years ago now? Most of the publications in Canada, small newspapers, articles, et cetera,
Yep.
and controlled by them. So the media is all controlled.
Post media.
We've seen that in the last 10 years.
Yeah.
Especially the last 5 years since the convict thing started up.
Well, you look at I look at my local paper, which is supposed to be a weekly thing, which used to be thick. Most of it were ads or flyers that were inserted, but they've cut back on their reporters. They've cut back on their print. If you're lucky, it's 8 or 10 pages now, maybe. And for the longest time, it was really thick with just flyers. They didn't have the reporters to cover the local community. And the reporters reported the content of the council meeting, but not what it meant or it represented, what the possible flaws in a bylaw was going to have as an impact to the community. And that's where you guys come in. That's what we've been trying to push for the last long time, is that in each community across our province, and yes, around the world, but we're really focused on Alberta primarily, you guys have access to the news that we're hoping to share.
That's how we get most of our news, is friends sharing news, because I don't watch TV here.
And you look at how they're filtering social media. That's another reason why having a new media outlet, we're just going to share the news. We're not going to go so far as to say, it's not worthy of being covered. It's just more of time. So if you're helping us do the research, number one, we're saving some of the costs, but number two, when we get the information, we'll post the information, which you'll find in our archives on HHE Radio. We post the story, the broadcast or the recording, and then if there was a presenter, then we'll try and share the evidence that they brought forward as well. But it's not because we want to, discern the. That's a you thing. You figure out what your perspective on it. We'll talk about, what makes sense to us, but we want to share all of the information that we have so that you can make your decision.
And we need a good number of you sending news in. We need news. You get us news. You see something, you're driving down the street. We left the shop here last night. Around the corner, there was a car rollover, and another car pulled up against it. It was the oddest sight I've ever seen. It was kind of unusual. We were in a hurry. It was a one-way street. We couldn't stop and do anything, but if there was somebody there that had seen that, stop, take a little bit of video, get some footage, find out what's going on, send that in. We'll post it. It's interesting.
And we'll share it. There's no, but see, here's the thing that I want you guys to understand. And our media has not done a good job at sharing this. A lot of the stories that you have in your local community are similar stories to every place else in the province. I'm sorry to bring it up because it's a sore topic at this moment, but land use bylaws. They're typically written by, not even half a dozen, 3 or 4 different companies, and then brought into the communities for the communities to sell and adjust and tweak, but it's the same cat, just with different colors. If you could see how others are bringing forward information, conclusions, evidence, things to be aware of if you're pro or con exactly what your council is bringing forward, it'll help you in your journey to make your decisions and also decide what you're going to do as a reaction to something that is not popular with. So from a media perspective, that's what we're supposed to do. That's what a new media outlet will open doors for you. Okay. But what makes you a news guy? Are you a news guy?
I don't like news.
You don't like news?
I like to hear. I can't watch it. You got me going now. I'm not talking mainstream media. I can't turn the TV on and watch it, especially during this debacle that just happened to us.
Okay, but let's talk about you, because you're the principal or one of the principals in this particular effort. The news that we're bringing forward, what makes you a good news guy?
A good news guy tells the truth. He's honest. He's sincere.
Hold on a second. I said something wrong, folks.
What you said.
I'm sorry. I was wrong. Go ahead. Look at the media's. Tell me the last time they went forward and said, we didn't tell the whole story.
They never say that. They tell us lies. It's all,
Okay, you're getting emotional on
I
this.
can't even think because I'm so angry.
All right. This is the part we want you to understand. If you have a news story, that's anybody, share it across the province. You got people who are looking at the impact, economic impact of businesses going out of business or industries leaving the area. Or if there's a story, you see it in the ticker right below our picture saying, send us the information at on the air at hhgradio.com. We'll do our best. We'll interview people. We'll bring them on to tell the stories. And we've heard some most horrific accounts, but there's more to it than that. But I don't think you and I are media people. I don't think we're qualified under the current media. But that's what makes us different. The desire to be transparent and show the whole story. How do we show the story? You gave it to us. We'll share it. There's no, let's just cover this up a little bit. Somebody does something wrong, let's call them on it. Somebody does something right. You have an event going on, we think the province should hear about it. There's events all over this province that are outstanding. Nobody hears about, or very few.
Very few, yeah.
And why do very few hear about it?
Well, because mainstream media doesn't push it anymore. They used to talk about all that kind of stuff. You know, the kids are skating in the rink, and you know, there's a skate going down for the children, a fundraiser or something like that. They used to talk about that stuff.
And there's Lacoma's got a great rodeo.
Yeah, they don't talk about that stuff anymore. They're there to feed you fear, keep you in a state of panic and shock. I can't watch TV. I've gone into a restaurant to order something like a sandwich. This is going back a few years, but I would be in there and I'm watching a news article in the corner of the TV. Like, let's say it's a sub shack or something like that, a place that makes sandwiches. There's a TV in the corner playing the news, and it's all about fear. I walked over the place because they're helping the news people keep us in a state of fear. Doesn't matter where we go, we see it, we hear it. It's all on the radio. We can't get away from it, and it's still the same.
But hold on a second. But we're no different. We're going to make you be aware of what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
If you're scared, then maybe you've come to a conclusion that you should be concerned. There's nothing wrong with that.
And start acting. Yeah, we need people to know the truth. It's like, I keep thinking of this one thought. During COVID, there was a number of young fellas, or men and women in Canada, I mean, talking 13, 14 years old, skating on a rink in the neighborhood. And the city or county or whatever it was, town, would throw dirt all over the rink so they couldn't skate. Who the heck was telling you that? Why would you do something like that to the children? And then arresting them and they wouldn't get off the ice. That kind of stuff. A 13 or 14-year-old, that's unacceptable. But that news was getting spread. Yeah, we call it news. It's kind of a dirty word. I don't like it.
But that's how it's.
You know, that's what it is. That's what it is we got to deal with. But that's how it's getting spread through social media. You know, the odd person would see it. We want to make it so that everybody sees it. So it goes out on 4 or 5 different platforms, maybe 10 before the next couple of weeks. Who knows? But let's get everybody aware of what's going on and give people something to do with that information.
Ah.
You know what I mean?
Does the news do that today?
No, the news doesn't do that. They just tell you to be scared.
Okay, so what makes our efforts different?
Well, we give some people a solution, you know, something to do to enable reaction. If your local council has got you walking on one side of the street and it's the dangerous side as opposed to the other side, go to the council with signs and stuff, make a racket. make some noise and say, listen, why are you having us walk on the wrong side of the street, which is dangerous because there's no sidewalk, when the sidewalk's flagged off on the other side of the street and there's nothing going on? That kind of stuff.
So I think what you're seeing, at least between Red Dog and myself, is we have maybe a different way of looking at the information that's coming in. And, you know, if your grass is too high or your neighbor, we don't care. That's not news.
Maybe go over and cut your neighbor's grass if it's too high. Maybe they don't have enough money to put in their lawnmower. Maybe they got a broken leg and they can't do their grass. Instead of cursing them and yelling at them because the media tells you to do that. You know what I mean? Phone in and report them so that the town gives you a fine, $100 fine for every day you don't cut your grass. These poor people that get a $100 check in the mail, they're jumping for joy because they got more food or they got some money to put gas in the lawnmower or the car. It's unacceptable. Help people. Start helping your neighbor instead of mocking them or talking down about them, because that's what the media wants you to do. Keep everybody fighting with each other.
Well, I'm going to bring up some more stuff
Mm-hmm.
in terms of sharing the news. And this is just an overview. There is an event going on right now
Mm-hmm.
that should have people across the country aware, angry, frustrated, a bunch of other negative emotions, but very conscious of. This event that's going on goes into government overreach, goes into a block of mainstream media. It goes into judicial misjudgment. And I think that's the best way to call it, is misjudgment.
Mm-hmm.
And while it's making some headway in the news or the mainstream media, the impact is not being discussed. The health and well-being, the freedom that's being attacked and taken away, the anger that's there and mounting is not being dealt with because the system has decided that certain rights or beliefs don't count. Our job is not to inflame, but in some ways, the information itself is inflammatory because it makes you mad. I don't want people to be mad. I like having a good day myself. But once you start getting all of these things coming one after the other, sooner or later you get, I've had enough. And we're telling people right now that we have a system. You right now have a tool
Mm-hmm.
to communicate, while we're focused on Alberta, ultimately around the world, your dissatisfaction or your support for certain movements, whether you're left or right, or there's some common sense. You judge yourself. It's not up for us.
Mm-hmm.
But our passion for right and wrong, which is interesting in terms of mainstream media, we're going to use this to help push the narratives that you find important. This issue that's going on in BC right now, we're going to get to, and that'll be part of one of our next broadcasts. But for right now, you have access to a widespread media launch, and we're doing it not because we're experts, but we have built the tools, and it's for you to see, touch, feel, experience, share, grow as you see fit.
We need help. We can't do it without.
And when we talk about we're going to run this telethon today, the first part is, and we're going to wrap up in a few minutes this particular episode, but it's because it's needed. Without a place that you can trust that will tell the story, the whole story,
And nothing but the story.
who will share and not stop sharing, our province, our citizens, our country, the world is not being serviced with anything that will help people reach the right conclusions for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So somebody who does not have any media experience and somebody who is not trained through the journalism classes, even proper English. How many times do you bust me on English?
Lots. I'm a grammar Nazi. Not so much when you're talking, it's more when you're typing.
Oh, well, good, because I can dramatically pause for that one moment. But we're sharing this with you folks. You can see us in the video. We're going to disappear from the video in about 5 minutes, but we'll be back. Like, trust us, we're doing this for 24 hours.
24 hours. No sleep. Well, eat whatever somebody brings us.
If we have friends
that brings us food
or coffee, because this stuff that I'm drinking, it's like somebody did a comb over and
nice
filtered
coffee. Boys, I haven't been back to the old Maxwell House instant coffee for a long time, but it sure does give you a zip.
It does. But for you people who are listening and watching, take a minute, go through your friends list, share the link out either through video or through a Facebook or an email to anybody who you think a truthful media would resonate with.
Yeah, somebody that's part of a group. You know what I mean? Like all these different groups that are Alberta's got lots of. There's lots in Ontario, Quebec, everywhere. Get your group airing us. Put us on. Let's go. We need to be seen. We need to be heard.
We need to build.
We need to build this, and then we need people to see what we're talking about. We need people to see the news, the truth.
I popped up the internet, and I'm going to say this so that it's clear with everyone. I'm not saying we're going to be perfect. Don't get me wrong, but we're going to try every day.
Mm-hmm.
I went through my social media feed. One of the big items was the UK travel ban that said they were going to limit people to traveling out of the country twice per year, business or personal. That was their limit.
And you still have to have digital ID. Yeah.
Oh, we'll get to that one too. That's one of the stories that we're going to stay on. But I did a little bit more research, and it's not official that this exists yet. But they're working on it. And it's a lot better for us to discuss that they're working on it rather than ignoring it until it's already too late.
And if they're working on it, they're thinking about ways to stifle you, to stop you from movement, free movement. They're always thinking of a way to shut us down. We already live in an open air gym. Okay? They're thinking of ways to make our little, what we have, smaller, so they can control us and monitor us and charge us more money, because if we're busy and broke, we have to
just succumb to whatever it is they want.
Yeah, we have to focus on surviving. Exactly. We have to do what they want us to do. That's how bad it's getting.
So we're going to bring this up that, throughout the day, we will have more reasons on why there is a need for a new media, a new. And how about the limiting of distribution of information? You can see on social media where people have said they've sent an email, people didn't get it. They made a post, none of their friends saw it.
That's unacceptable. They've got high rises full of people worldwide shutting us down so we can't share information. They don't want anybody knowing anything. You just listen to what we say and do what we say. Period. They're putting a foot on our neck right now as we speak. I'm getting sick of it.
The filtering they're using to allow information into your feed or my feed, this media is unfiltered. You want to get the straight goods, you come to us and we'll give you the straight goods. We'll share the actual information. We got another message.
What do the donations go for?
Nice and easy. The donations go to keep the doors open. We are not working out of a basement. We actually have an office. We have equipment costs. We have insurance. We have software licensing, which is just about killing us. And not only that, we can't afford to operate this station 24/7 for free. There's not enough volunteers coming in. It costs money to provide the service. The licensing alone is very stressful.
We need help, plain and simple.
So you
And
bring,
that's one of the reasons we're doing this telethon, trying to bring in some money so we can keep the doors open.
yeah. But our first episode today is strictly on why we believe there's a need for a new media source and supplier. And we're asking you to share our link, our recordings, sign up for our Facebook page, follow us, but share it to all of the people that you care about because they need access to the information. They don't have to see it, they don't have to know, but at least give them the option to get the straight goods.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing is, if you have people who you know are involved in a story, we have one lady who was talking about a criminal case that she was dealing with that was horrific. It had judges that weren't playing within what you and I would consider to be justice. Same thing for RCMP, Child Protective Services. And I thought it was just a unique story.
No.
But then we hear it over and over and over again. There's something that's not working here, folks. And we, as a community, as a concerned citizens, need to step forward to make these changes. But you can only do it if you got a source of information that helps you disseminate the information, come to conclusions, and come up with a plan of action, which our next session will be about. Well, we'll decide what the next section is about because we have so
We got
many,
24 hours, man. And
and
we'll be babbling idiots by the time we hit 20 or 15 or 10. I don't know. I've never done this before.
I did a dance-a-thon.
Did you? How
Yep.
long did you last?
I did this 24 hours.
24 hours.
Yep.
Get out.
Yeah, this is back in the day when dancing actually was a healthy activity.
It's a healthy activity. Yeah. Yeah.
But now, I mean, that's the whole thing is even just the social interactions. You go to so many of the municipalities, I'm only speaking specifically in Alberta, but I do believe it's nationwide, have a limit on gatherings, private. You need to go get a permit to oppose something, to protest, to gather, even a big barbecue, you're still supposed to get a permit. No offense, but that's a little invasive. If a group of people decide they're just going to get together and then they call two friends and it gets to be a larger group, they put the wrong laws forward. They weren't specific about what the regulations were and why and how it's enforced. And we're going to talk about that ongoing every day. But we do need your help. And it starts with sharing. It starts with a donation. You can just email a donation, e-transfer it. But the need for a new media is here. We know it. We're going to try and provide it. We're going to grow this to be 24 hours.
We're trying, guys.
We're going to try. And it's going to start with, do you have any friends who have stories that need to get out there? And we'll do the work to get it done. And it's not just the two of us. We do have a little bit of a team.
Yeah, we do have a team. We have an awesome team. It's full of solid warriors, so to speak. When I started this whole, I guess I kind of took on media responsibility a little bit when I started fighting for freedom back in 2019. 2019, I started rallying. We were rallying in Grand Prairie, Alberta, on the stand on the corners and main intersection of signs, and it just grew to end up in Edmonton and working at the legislature and I'm not giving up, and Kirk's not giving up. We want what's best for the people of Alberta and Canada, the world. There's a lot of countries right now. They're in a lot of bad stuff.
And the big thing that all of them have in common across the planet is they got control of the media and they just suck the life out of the people.
Suck the life right out of them. That's a good way to put it. Suck the life out of us.
And all I can say is we're going to have a party. The video stuff, right now, we have to limit the length of the video, where we store it, how many videos we have things we have to do based on finances. But we also have streaming audio, and that runs 24 hours. It doesn't stop. And hopefully this is working and going through what I wanted it to do. I don't know if it is or not, but we'll find out.
If somebody can go on to hhtradio.com and let us know.
We'll make sure it's
they send
done.
it through. Yeah.
Yeah. But we have audio, video, print. We're doing a lot of social media, but the social media, they can filter, they can limit. But once you come onto the website, you get one of these feeds, pretty much uncontrollable until they cross that line. You know who they are. But for right now, let's wrap this particular stream out, this video. If you want to listen to us live, you can. The radio station is streaming full time, but we'll be back in probably 12 minutes with the next edition of the Straight Talk Report
Yes.
with Kirk Taylor.
And Red Dog McDavid.
We'll be back in just a few minutes.
Thanks, guys.